Yes.
Where are you from? Do you live in Manhattan or?
I live in Manhattan, yes. I was born, Italy has 20 regions, so if you look at Italy in the right-hand corner, it's now Friuli, Venezia Giulia. The little appendage that was given away remained under Croatia now. But when I go back to my home, to the vineyards, in Italy, I go to Friuli, which is in the right-hand corner of Italy, as you're looking at it, under Austria and next to Slovenia. Yes?
Can you share some of your experiences of cooking for Pope Benedict XVI?
Could I share some of the experience of cooking for Pope Benedict when he was here 2 years ago? It was an extraordinary experience. When I was first asked, I said sure, but I didn't think it was going to happen, and then ultimately did. Now the Pope doesn't go out and eat. He eats in his. In this case was the Apostolate, the house where the Apostolate lives, and it's on 72nd Street. And the Apostolate is the representative to the United Nations for the Vatican. And we went in the house, and I remember he came in with all his luggages and whatever. They all carried his luggages. He came in, he went upstairs. I went to even see upstairs where he had his room, and he had a small chapel. It's beautiful. And the Apostolate still, lives there, but they had a nice kitchen in the back. And we had planned the menu with 2 dinners, although I cooked a lunch as well. The first dinner was, he had 50 cardinals from the United States, and I guess there was some business. And the second dinner was a kind of a familiar dinner. It was Saturday. I know it was his birthday, and it was also the anniversary of his papacy. So there was about 30. Now, he's German. And I did a little research, and his mother was a chef. She cooked in Germany in a hotel. So I knew that he enjoyed food, but I don't think that he requested or made a big deal, being a spiritual man, of what he's going to eat and how much, those kind of earthly pleasures. Well, I was going to give him some earthly pleasures. I was going to give him some good food. So because I thought that, this is my chance to communicate to him. I mean, we're not going to discuss theology, but so I cooked the food that I thought. I did research. He comes from that area. I come from the north also. So for me to cook with sauerkraut, to make strudel, to make all of that mlinzi and all of that, it's natural because that's the border that I come from. So I did just that. The first night was Friday, so we did fish, but I did make him some good soup. The traditional Italian way. You're traveling, you get yourself a good soup. So I made him a good capon soup with a little agnolini, and as I was serving, now he has somebody that watches everything. So I was, this is for the Pope, that's enough. I says, no, that's not enough. So I gave him a little more soup. He ate the whole thing. Then the next day, I made apple strudel, I made sauerkraut, and he really loved it. So much so that the last night, so it was his birthday. It was kind of a little bit informal, not too much. There's always formality around the Pope. But we brought the cake, big cake right in front of him. And so I was right, like he was sitting, I was right, sort of putting the cake and whatever. Gave him a knife to cut the cake, but he didn't know what to do. I don't know, he was so I took his hand and the knife and we cut the cake together. Like a bride and groom, we did. So he looked at me, and I guess I felt relaxed, and I guess he felt. So I said, did you enjoy it, Your Holiness? And he looked at me and he said, in Italian, these are the flavors of my mother. It was delicious. So I got him. Because you can't, he had it in him, he realized those were the memories that food made for him. And I evoked some of those memories, so it was great. Then I went back to see him at the Vatican, so hopefully maybe I'll do something at the Vatican also. Yes?
Are you filmed in your own kitchen?
Am I filmed in my own kitchen? Yes. What you're looking at is my home. When I go back tonight, that's where I'll go. My mother lives upstairs. Well, let me tell you how it began, the whole filming process. So I had my first restaurant in '71, then for Lidia in '81, and I really became the chef then. and the newspaper and everybody, and Julia Child and James Beard, all of them would come to dinner. And so we became friends with Julia Child, and at one point she says, Lydia, would you do an episode or two with me? And I did. We did 2 episodes with the Master Chef series. And the producer says, Lydia, those episodes are really good. Actually, one was nominated for an Emmy. And he said, would you be interested in your own show? So I thought, as you can tell, I'm a storyteller. I love sharing. And I said, I thought about it, and I said, yeah, I would, but there's 2 things that I would need to happen. And one, that I film in my kitchen. And that wasn't just because I was afraid to go in the studio, because it's in my kitchen, I know what I'm doing. If I go in the studio, all these new things, I wouldn't know, so if I can do it in my kitchen, and if I can be on public television, and those 2 still hold. Yeah. Okay, so one more question.